Good afternoon. Welcome to today's stream. CP, good to see you. Anyone else that's currently tuned in, you are very, very welcome. Thank you for coming along to the stream today. Transport, I am doing okay, mate. I am very sniffly today, so that's a warning in advance. I woke up about an hour ago and was just not great. Taking some paracetamol. Hopefully that sorts me out a little bit. Ultimately, I'm well enough to get cracking on today. So, hope you guys are doing well as well. CP Transport. Hope you've had a great day so far, and hopefully it can only get better. Let's get cracking on. I should have everything good and ready to go. Actually, no, I don't. My root annotations mod isn't running. There we go. Aside from that, I'm going to launch a third Rails as well, because I'm pretty sure that is visible on the stream. And I kind of do like it. I didn't think I would. I usually don't like stuff like that. But I don't know. This one just has a particular charm that works on me. Right, we've got 2 more services to go for the 147, totaling roughly an hour and a half. And then we've got a 16-minute run on the West Coast mainline timetable with the Class90. That will be the last run for that journey mode. And then we can go into the Medway Valley line. I'm happy that you're doing well, CP. Roadmap today. Yeah, I did go through it. I did read it. I think it was majority like underwhelming. I felt like the update for the Taudame line was more just to say, oh, we're still working on it, guys. We promise we're still working on it. It hasn't gone anywhere. We haven't forgotten about it. It's not, it's not vaporware. I just don't get the point of the update. If they wanted to release some screenshots, cool. But I just saw it as like noise, to be honest. Also, this piece of crap is finally working, so I can turn off my next signal aspect. And also, there's something else that I turned off. I'm gonna leave it for now. I'll go as we see. I'll just turn off the signals because I can see what they are. No updates on the Portuguese route. There were no updates to a lot of things. To be honest, I don't mind that. Like, if there's nothing to update on, don't. I would rather that than like filler, like write in words just to take up space, just to have it there. Like what it was for the Taudame line, in my opinion. It was just noise. They didn't need to give us any updates. Obviously, there can be concern in situations where there's no update for a while. But I think with the one we got last time about the Portuguese route is sufficient. I think that covers, like, I think I covered everything it needed to cover. What the hell? Okay. I think I covered everything it needed to cover. And, yeah, if we don't hear anything about it for a month or even 2 months, I'd be okay with that. Mark, hello, mate. How you doing? A screenshot is always welcome. Yeah, screenshot is always welcome, but if, let's say, every week it's just screenshots, and then, sorry, every month it's just screenshots, and then maybe once every 4 months there's some news, I think people might complain, in all honesty, that, oh, there's no updates, There's just screenshots, but we don't know what's happening with the route. Like people always like to give themselves a reason to complain. You're flying back today instead of tomorrow. Oh, nice one, Mark. Get back sooner, mate. I assume you're probably sick of Spain right now. I realized my nose goes funny when I sleep in like on a particular side, and then my body basically needs to like swap over, I think, to the other side, but maybe it doesn't do that. I don't know. Last roadmap, I got some nice screenshots. Yeah, but we hadn't received an update for that route in like 3 months, I think, or something like that before then. So I think it was nice to let everyone know, you know, the route is still being worked on. And like, here's how it's looking. It's not, you know, it's real and it's far in development. And it was, of course, nice for them to add the text with the update talking about, you know, what's going on. Although it wasn't all good, I think it was important to give out that sort of information so that our expectations are a bit more realistic. Still in Spain, flying to Gatwick today and got 3 days of flying. Sick of having Spanish McDonald's. You should have widened your palate, mate. Going to have some paella. I've been enjoying Morristown line last few days. Whenever I play TSW, I always just default Birmingham to crew for like 3 weeks. Journey mode is actually growing on me now, and I'm actually playing those other routes I have, just like 20 other ones. Journey mode for like I don't know how it is for you and like other people, but it just gives me some direction towards how to play the game. Like, yeah, I could just do timetable mode, but the only way that I can imagine myself doing that is if I, for example, do like, I try and do like ultra realistic run. So for example, at the time that I'm playing a particular route, I'll try and find a service that starts as close to that as real as possible, set the weather to like, you know, real life, and probably go at it like that. I don't know, but if I'm gonna choose like random runs from the timetable, I've got no clue how I would do that. Like, I really need to be guided or directed one way or another. So that's why yeah, I like it, man. Can't get enough of it. So the main line feels like it's in development for so long. It has been in development for so long, mate. TSW4. It was first announced in TSW4. Now remember, it wasn't, routes aren't announced, and then the planning starts, and then the development and the decisions of what to include and how to include it. A route will become public information. A route that's work in progress will become public information after like a certain amount of work has been done. So it had already been being developed in TSW4. And then we had the rest of TSW4, then the entirety of TSW5, and now we're halfway or beyond halfway in TSW6's life cycle. That's very concerning. You can show me all the pictures in the world, mate. I have very low hopes for that DLC. I'll be honest. I've been saying this for a while. I just don't trust it's going to come out in a way that shows we've been actually putting in a lot of work over the last 4 years. So that's where I stand on it. I hope I get proven wrong and it's like just incredible. That would be great for everyone involved. But I think I'm going to keep my expectations sensible. You know what, transport? I'm not going to self-diagnose, and I've never been officially diagnosed with anything. But boy, oh boy, there are certain things when it comes to like ADHD, especially, but sometimes autism, that I like match the symptoms of to like quite a scary degree. And you know, should I be more in that direction? I think that makes sense. Richmond extension looks fine. You know what? I didn't actually get to look at the pictures for the Richmond extension. I didn't look at the pictures for them. For it, I should say, not them. Let me find it. Anyway, I'm glad that he's back on it now. Sounds like he had an incredibly busy year. And I'm glad that he can dedicate his time to it. Right, let's see if I recognize anything. How long ago? When was the last time I went to Richmond? To be honest, it's more than 10 years ago. I wouldn't trust myself to recognize anything. I mean, it looks good in terms of like detail. I actually don't remember the track layout. But I'm glad he's using Liam's 484s for the London Underground. I was really hoping that would be the case. I'm also hoping, I believe Southwestern Railway trains also go past there, and I was hoping that somehow he would find a way to incorporate that. Now, although he hasn't said anything about it, I don't believe he said anything about bringing in like the Elizabeth line, the Greater Anglia, like AI trains, the DLR, until the route was like very close to release. So maybe he's just waiting until the extension comes closer to release before he says that, oh yeah, I've also included this and that layer. Anyway, to be fair, whatever he comes out with, I'm confident in it. They should announce routes when they're like 70% completed, so the community isn't waiting for like 8 months to the same training. Yeah, I mean, there's been like various issues over the years, right? With sometimes announcements being made too early, sometimes announcements being too made. I think it's quite difficult to find a sweet spot, but I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible at all. It just takes a bit of, logical thinking and saying, okay, with this far in development, we've got this many issues that we're contending with. What is the likelihood that it will release within this time frame? Even if we're just given time frames as opposed to actual release dates. But I think it should be, I can't imagine it being difficult to find the right time to announce a route at all. If you've got access to everything behind the scenes, it shouldn't really be difficult to nail down. In my opinion, anyway. Maybe I'm completely off, and it is something that's really difficult. But I just don't see how that would be the case. We need new German coaches other than Dostos, at least a new variation of the Dostos. We've been needing them as far as I know, as far as I remember from TSW2. People have been asking for them. Like realistically, right? That would be the easiest way to do it because it's just a minor change to like the model that we already have. And it's a bit concerning that the work has never been done for that, because it just shows a lack of, I don't know. I know not everyone likes the word lazy, but if you can't make like minor alterations to a model for the sake of immersion and realism in a sim, I'm not quite sure how else to describe that. Richmond extension should have come with a mild mate to begin with. No offense to Johannes, incredible traits, but including the things that get go. I mean, it's 50-50, isn't it? Like, ultimately, would we all have wanted that? Yeah. But the level of detail this guy has like put in by himself is just insane. So I understand like why it wasn't released that way, but at the same time, I don't think anyone really would have had an issue with him releasing it a little bit later, but with everything involved, like have it proper from the get-go. The thing is though, the way this guy details his routes, I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind it, but it's like so overdone. I'm not surprised it takes them as long as it does to, you know, to release stuff, but because of that, we're probably just gonna see like one thing a year from him, if that. And obviously, if he does continue developing, which I would very much hope would be the case. Announcements on the cab of the loco as implementation of the feature. Oh, as in for the Dostos, yeah. Just to, well, I mean, just to have it up to scratch, isn't it? Up to like TSW6 standards. I think we've been sorely missing like a new Gen 1 as well. Maybe like when they're a few months, maybe 3 or 4 from testing, as it gets a bit annoying. You know what? I think to make everyone happy, yeah, it may even be like, maybe it should be done when testing starts, and then like maybe like a week into testing, so they have an idea of what issues, if any, they've got on their hands, and then based off of that they can perhaps give a time frame. So then it's like you announce it, people get excited over it, there's like a bit of hype, you know, around the community, and then you capitalize on that by releasing it later that month, for example. Hank. No. I'm a humble I'm just an apprentice. I'm you know, I'm still growing my craft. You, however, master of bikes, master of cars, master of planes, master of the kitchen. I don't think the drivers are able to hear the announcements on the locals, as they only work on the passenger coaches. Wait, what are you referring to, CP? I thought you were talking about the Dostos. I mean, the Dostos is basically in the passenger compartment, isn't it? Like the cab. Do I know the game Stormworks? I can't say I do, no. I can't say I do. Master of Noses. Oh. See? Master of Intelligence. Trying to build a locomotive in it. Interesting. What is the game like about? What's the premise of it? I don't quite understand how we're behind schedule as much as we are. Like, yeah, I've been a bit slow to stop at platforms, and we did have that TSR, but I think it had started from before then. You're driving a loco right now. Ah, right. You know what, actually? It's funny you say that because you are right. But see, I also have this. I have this option off, right? Which means that announcements for trains that this is for announcements that for trains that don't have real world announcements. Wasn't there a setting? I guess it was this one. I thought there was a setting that turns them off, like where you can't hear them. I wonder if it's just a detail that was missed. Yeah. But can you hear the announcements on here though? Have you heard any announcements? I haven't been really paying attention. I've just been driving. I know I've heard SIFA. I haven't heard any train announcements though. Oh, there we go. Okay, you're right. I don't know what I can do about that. As I understand, the game's already meant to have that feature, right? Where if you wouldn't hear it in reality, in a loco, for example, and you wouldn't hear it in the game. Although I'm pretty sure I've seen on the forum someone say there are some locos that have like speakers so that you can hear what the passengers hear. It's not going to be the case every time though. It said I was driving the 1462 and noticed it. That's annoying, man. That's actually very annoying. Like, it's cool to have, but not realistic. Like, it's cool from a gameplay perspective, but I'd much prefer. I much prefer it be cool from a realism perspective. Didn't want to get tripped there. A diesel locomotive based on the BR101. How detailed, like how difficult, basically, would it be to do that in that game? Building stuff for missions. One of the fans in my PC isn't spinning and it's bothering me so much. The circle thing is spinning but the blades aren't. The circle thing is spinning but the blades aren't. What circle thing? You're not talking about like RGB, are you? Also, I would just make sure that it's connected properly. Like, open up the case, follow where the cable goes, and just unplug it and plug it back in, and just make sure it's nice and secure. It's not realistic, no. And I'd rather I'd rather that wasn't the case. But I also don't want to go chasing that setting every time I start a new route or drive a new train. So I think I'm okay to live with it, I guess. I'm pretty sure a part of that feature was that wasn't the case. You'd only hear it in trains where you'd hear it in reality. But maybe I'm thinking about just the announcements playing in general. You wouldn't hear them in trains that wouldn't have them. It's very detailed with custom engines, microcontrollers and such. And there's boats, planes, spacecraft, trains, everything. So if you wanted to make like an expert level train in that game, it would basically be possible.
Sehr geehrte Reisende, herzlich willkommen im Zug RB nach Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof.
Also, is it like a new game? I feel like it's something that would have showed up at one point or another on my Steam page. All right, just transport. I'll take a look when we get to Bessingheim. It would take you 50 years. But it would take you 50 years because it would take someone 50 years because they're not, like, they still need to learn some things in the game? Or is it just that level of complexity?
Zifa.
Jesus Christ. Oh my lord. Excuse me.
Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links.
It's not fun at all. At least I haven't been overshooting today. That's a plus. I'm gonna go off camera for a couple minutes. I won't be going anywhere, I promise.
Sehr geehrte Reisende, herzlich willkommen im Zug.
It's just very complex, fair enough.
Nach Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof. Wir wünschen Ihnen eine angenehme Reise. Nächste Station Bietigheim-Bissingen. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung rechts.
Zifa.
I'm curious to see in whether this train will get any updates come Thursday. Because, I mean, aside from the acceleration, it feels quite extreme, but could be somewhat realistic. And the braking that just seems like it can't be realistic. And some funkiness here and there. I think it's been okay. I honestly think it's been okay. I don't think it's going to be too much different. Oh yeah, also, it's the 147, Hank. Also, the roadmap mentioned a core update coming in a few months. Now, I think I'm going to message Dovetail on our Ambassador Discord and tell him Just straight up, like what are we like? What are we gonna be expecting? Because it seems every time there's a core update, it's noted as this, it's announced as this like somewhat big thing, and then it just ends up fixing very, very, very minor things that like that shouldn't be the priority at all. And I'm a little bit tired of seeing that, in all honesty. So I think I'm going to shoot him a message later on today and just sort of, well, get that across. Ultimately, they're going to do what they're going to do, which is what they want to do. But I do want to get that through, because it's like a lot of the time when it comes to people that are waiting for bugs, all they really have to look forward to are these core updates, and if they're not going to do anything meaningful, there's just not much point in them, in my opinion. Hello Grumpy, how you doing, mate? Still mediocre? Is it still mediocre? What, this train? I mean, it yes. Like, ultimately, when you put it against all the other German stuff in the lineup, it really is just another one. A slightly more powerful one with seemingly ridiculous braking. So I wouldn't be surprised if adjustments get made to that side of things. Ultimately, though, it kind of just is what it is. It's you know, very underwhelming. Like, it's cool that it's got this screen here that shows you the upcoming stops when you're doing the passenger runs. Aside from that, though, mate, it you know, it's just another German loco. There's really not much more to it. My simple meal I don't want to cook. My simple I don't want to cook meal is delicious. And what is your I don't want to cook meal, Mr. Hank? I've had horrible stops, Jesus. Yeah, I'm okay, mate. I am being harassed at the moment by my nose. I'm not too sure why. Usually, if I sleep like during the day, it has a higher chance of happening. And I woke up at like 4 p.m. today. I didn't sleep until like 11 a.m., 12 p.m. So I don't know whether it's due to that. I don't know whether it's just due to the season. Like, my window's open. So is it like somehow pollen related? I don't know. But it has been kicking my ass, mate. Aside from that, though, I'm good. I am good. How are you doing? Hope you enjoyed the video that came out today. I intended to do that. I initially recorded the script for that last week, like early last week, I think it was. And yeah, man, the time is just a myth right now. But yeah, I was happy to finally be able to edit it, get it out, because I wanted it to actually be I think it was, I initially wanted it to go out on the 1st of April, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you could say there's been a bit of a delay.
Wir wünschen Ihnen eine angenehme Reise. Nächste Station, Ludwigsburg. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung rechts.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Let me adjust the AFB so that we don't get punished aggressively by the angry German train. For me, the route is really pretty decent and the timetable is buzzing already, so I don't see much need for the DLC, even though this timetable might be modern or busier. Here's the interesting one, Grumpy, when it comes to this route, mate. So, as it came out, with the stock it came out with, it would have been absolutely perfect as a more modern route, because they didn't do the 2000s era justice. If you look at any footage of Stuttgart, for example, in 2000, you've got so many variety of trains and mixed consists that I know they're finally coming to, but just talking based on the release, and so many mixed consists. And the most annoying thing about it all was that everything that Stuttgart had, or the majority of what Stuttgart had in 2000, we actually have in the bloody game. Between the different liveries, the mixed like everything we have, there was just no effort or seemingly no work put into taking what we have and making it work to actually give us a 2000s experience. This route would have had so much more flavor and character if it was done properly. And I remember them saying in an article when this released, saying that for some reason it couldn't work. They couldn't get the right, because I think it was something from the Mittenwaldbahn route, something from Linke Rheinstrecke, and maybe something from a different route. They said, yeah, for some reason, I don't remember the reason they gave it, that content coming into this route was a no-go. But hold on a second. Now they also, let's not forget the 423 coming in the Frankfurt livery, meaning modern day, and you've got a train driving in 2000 with bloody Wi-Fi, with the bloody Wi-Fi symbol on the side of it. Just absolutely ridiculous. So you're telling me you couldn't even have, at the very, very minimum, given that the right livery. But fast forward a few months now, mounting issues, PS5, this issue, that issue. Now they've been forced to implement certain trains and I think wagons as well onto this route. Now all of a sudden, it's very possible to give the 423 the correct livery. Oh! So that work that would have taken someone a couple of hours to do was actually possible. Oh, and by magic, they've now figured out how to bring in the mixed consists. Oh! So for what reason then was this not done in the beginning? No one accepted the bollocks of it was impossible. Every time they've said something's not possible or can't happen, somebody goes and does it. I mean, I can give you 3 solid examples from modders doing things that Dovetail said they couldn't do. We've got 2 different mergers. The American one recently, and there was a German one previously that merged some German routes. You've got the Class 700 and the Brighton mainline timetable. All of these things Dovetail said were not possible for one reason or another. People have come out and done it. Firefly came out and sorted out the blurry textures. Whoa. So at this point, shame on you if you still take what's being said at face value. Because where there's a will, there is a way. That's what we've seen across TSW's life cycle. Where there's a will, there's a way. We've had developers come in and blow Dovetail out of the water, blow all the other content out of the water. We've had modders do the same. Simple passion plus effort plus will can yield amazing results. So as much as finally the route is in a state where it's a lot more acceptable for the era and the location, it's not good enough for me personally, because it should have been the case on day dot. And I have not yet heard a good enough reason to justify why that wasn't the case. If you look at any footage from then, it will, like, I don't really tend to do that, but for this one I did. Somebody sent me like a YouTube video of Stuttgart in 2000. What this route, like this representation of that route did, was a spit in the face of reality, genuinely. Who thought it would taste good to stir fry some vegetables with rice and a lot of spices? Hey, you can never go wrong with a lot of spices, Hank. However, anyway, generally speaking, with regards to like the timetable and how many trains you have and stuff like that, I didn't think the core one was too bad, but I will say the 2018 one is a lot busier. You don't really feel that too much mid-run, But when you're at either terminuses, which makes sense because that's where you're going to get the most trains, of course, before like everything goes its own direction, you do feel it. You really do feel it, especially around Stuttgart. My FPS, my FPS goes in the bin when I get anywhere near Stuttgart. So, I mean, yeah, like ultimately, it's not a bad thing that we've got the timetable and the route is more accurate. On the 2000s one, I just think it's a little too late. I'll be honest. I think it should have been done properly from the get-go with regards to that. Obviously, the new timetable could have only come out with this train. So, I mean, you know, fair enough on that front. But more so at the core of the route, that 2000 timetable should have been done properly from the start. And, you know, I'm not going to accept this plaster. This plaster fix. I think the video about the end of financial year was spot on. Too much DLC, not enough testing. Yeah, man. And it's getting worse and worse. Like I said in the video, it's nothing new, right? It does happen every March. But this year was completely something else, man. Completely something else. You just realised your meal is vegetarian, Hank. Well, you can change that at any point, mate. Just throw in some, if it's stir fry, throw in some beef. Has negative review score. Wait, what's got? Oh, Funkenbun. Interesting. Did like the reviews echo the same point? I would think, like when it comes to Steam reviews, I think the tendency is to vote it down if it doesn't work properly, or if it's really bugged. But I can't say I remember from the top of my head anything of the sort. I know there was like a point that always sort of caught me out and caused an emergency brake, but then I learned that was prototypical because it was because of a particular sign as opposed to a signal that you're meant to acknowledge. I'm trying to think back to then and see if I can remember any particular issues. I can't say I do, man. I think in terms of bugs, it was pretty decent. The 147, yeah, from what I've read, it should sub into a whole other host, to a whole host of other routes. More bugs and bad performance mainly. You know what? The performance thing, yeah, perhaps actually. Even all up to now, even like there's a one or two areas of the route that aren't necessarily busy with trains, but I do notice my frame rate drop around there, and I think that was an issue I was also having with the 140 on the 2000 timetable as well, so that would make sense. The 140 is a nice loco, yeah. The 140 is a nice loco, and yeah, listen, no, regardless of what the vocal majority or minority are saying, vote as review it and sort of give your opinions on it as per your feelings and your opinions, as opposed to being swayed by the noise, which is an easy sort of rabbit hole to get sucked into. Not rabbit hole, but you know what I mean. It's an easy ditch to fall into. But the 140 was nice. The 140 and the... Was it the 111? I think it was the 111. I don't know what it is with those locos. I really click with them. I really click with them. I don't know whether it's just ease of driving, and that's what attracts me, or if it's something else. But there's just something really nice about them. I tell you where that route did fall short though, or let me say probably that train on the route, on this route. The headlight situation. I don't know if you did any night drives, Grumpy. They weren't particularly great. They weren't particularly great, which kind of makes sense. It's an older loco. I mean, it's not gonna have the brightest lights. They're more like candles, and it shows. But you do feel it. You do feel it when you do a night run. The only meat you got available is salami. Honestly, mate, Throw that in, Hank. Throw it in. You can't go wrong with salami, mate.
Sifa. Sifa.
I mean, overall, it could be a lot better. Some routes do nail it. I say some routes, a handful. Like you could probably count them on one hand, like literally, that have actual good night lighting. A lot of them have mediocre night lighting. It's not terrible. Like it's not as bad as it was back in TSW2. That was something. But there's a whole lot of space for improvements. And I think overall it's getting better, just not quickly enough, in my opinion. And it's annoying that there's inconsistencies. Like it's not getting better on like a smooth curve going up. It's a very like jagged up down kind of thing.
Sifa. Sifa.
Oh, you're already eating it. Fair enough. Good choice, Hank. What would you say is the best train game out there currently? I can't say there is. There is one. I can't say there is one. Because each one has the things that make it good and the things that make it not so good. Give me one moment. So I'm just trying to sort out something with particular company. This Tosto looks white as it was coming into the tunnel. I thought it was like an intercity liveried one. I was thinking I don't remember downloading that mod.
Sifa. Sifa. Störung. Störung.
Wait, what was that about?
Störung. Zwangsbremsung. Zwangsbremsung. Zwangsbremsung.
What was that about?
Zwangsbremsung. 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 Zwangsbremsung.
So yeah, so you've got TSW, right? Let's start with TSW. TSW, thank you, Hank. TSW has, I think it's the best out of it like overall. It's probably the most like intriguing proposition, because you've got a variety of different countries, a variety of different trains, like a huge variety of each. I say different countries, different routes. And you do have a decent number of different countries, to be fair. But the simulation aspect definitely comes second in a lot of cases. Then you've got something like SimRail. SimRail is a lot more advanced when we're talking simulation, but you're limited. Oh, for fuck's sake! But you're limited to Poland. Now, yes, a fairly large area of Poland. You're a fairly big map, but you're limited to Poland ultimately. And yeah, there are apparently US and German routes on the way. When they come, that could change things and make things a bit interesting. But as it stands, it's just a corner of Poland. Then you've got something like Trace Classic, more realistic than TSW in terms of route length, and if you go with some enhancement packs and mods and stuff, you can make it an entirely more realistic experience than TSW. But you're limited to being stuck inside the cab, being static, and not really being able to interact with the train as you otherwise would be able to here. And so its limitations are there, and also graphically as well. Then you've got something like Railroader, which I believe is limited to Steam engines, if I'm not mistaken, and not much variety in the way of like routes, as I understand the game. Then you've got something like Magina, for example. Again, very in-depth simulation, but poor graphics. You're limited to Poland. I think there's another one that's more or less exactly the same. Then you've got Zusi. Zusi is very realistic in terms of like train performance and route lengths, signal failures, delays, stuff like that. It all does that kind of that side of things on the railway very realistically and well. But it looks horrendous, and I'm not sure about how good the sounds are. I think the sounds are relatively decent, but looks bad in all honesty, graphically wise, and there's not much based in the way of like physics, although the train performance is on point. Those are the ones that I have off the top of my head, but it sort of gives you an insight as to why it's tough for me to say, oh yeah, this one is better than all of them, because they all have their flaws, and they all have quite like significant, in my opinion anyway, flaws as well. Did you hear about the A320 landing on the South Pole? You know what? I did, Hank. I did. I apparently, the pilot was Dutch. The pilot was Dutch. Would that make sense? I may have missed an acknowledgement earlier, yeah, Grumpy. I've just been trying to sort out something all day. That's why I haven't really slept. And yeah, it's just been taking up a lot of my brain. Simro going to Germany, the 642 CP. That's what they're intending. Yes. Whoa. Whoa. My fans just went crazy for a second. Okay, that was interesting. Perhaps a little bit worrying. Yeah, until it's in the game, mate, I won't believe it, because they've been working on that German and the US route for 3 years now. And we've seen, in terms of like pictures and heard of like the development, the complete minimum. So I'm not really convinced. We'll get it when we get it, but for now, it doesn't exist. ETS2 train DLC when? Well, let's get the coaches out the door first, and then perhaps we can start looking at SES expanding their horizon. Diesel Rail Car Simulator is very well done for one guy making it. Okay, see, that one I've heard that name, but I've never like properly looked into it, so no idea like how well it does what it does, and how it compares as well to other games or sims in the same genre. Your girlfriend is on the plane you're flying. How so, Mark? Was that planned or is that a complete coincidence? So is there no pathing, Hank, for like the vehicles that you create? Oh, she doesn't know you're the captain. That's funny. Are you gonna surprise her or keep it under wraps until you land back in the UK? Sorry about the no camera as well. I will turn it on. I will turn it back on before the end of the stream at some point. I'm just feeling very rough. I'm feeling very rough. Trying to soldier through it. I'm wondering if I should have taken 2 paracetamol tablets as opposed to 1. I also am debating whether I should have taken ibuprofen instead of paracetamol. Like, there's not a huge difference between the two. And the paracetamol is 500 milligrams, whereas the ibuprofen, I think, is less. So you would think that the paracetamol would have a bigger punch. P on, C for on, master key on, crack the doors open, brake key, headlights to high beams so we can see a little bit more. This train is heading to Newcastle, which of course the train refuses to do automatically for some reason, and I must resort to doing it manually, although I'm not mad about that. I'm glad that the option is there at all. Do have a little bit of rain. Gonna leave the wipers on interval for now. What do we think of the 802? What do we think of the 802? I'm not gonna lie, I saw that we ambassadors knew it was coming for a few weeks now, and when I first saw it I was like, oh, I don't know if people are gonna react positively to this. Because I mean, not much information has come out with it, right? Like, they've mentioned timetables on East Coast Mainline and somewhere else, but Riviera Line actually it was. But I mean, what's it gonna do? You know, how much can it really do? So I can't say I'm super positive about that one. It seems like it's just a livery. It seems like it's just a livery. And as far as I know, it's not running in the real world yet. So I really don't know what's. I don't really know what its purpose is in the game. I feel DT should implement screenshots for the loading screen. Well, they used to do that, and what would determine a screenshot showing up on the loading screens was they used to do a competition. They used to do a regular, I forgot exactly like the schedule of it, but it was regular. It was a regular screenshot competition they used to do on the forum, and it was based off that competition what you would then see as a loading screen, and so it meant that it would change quite often, which was nice. But as with seemingly all positive things in the game, that seems to have just been forgotten about and given up on, unfortunately. but I maybe found a way using radar and sensors measuring the distance to the side based on the distance to like barriers to estimate the track side. Okay, Hank, that sounds like a workaround that could work. No pun intended. Maybe morphine. Well, unfortunately, mate, I don't have any morphine kicking about. I gave a call to the passengers. I don't understand those. I don't know, man. The 802 is just a really, really weird choice. It's a really weird choice. I don't know, man. Like there's things that need time dedicated to them in the game. There's content that would make more sense to be brought into the game. Is the 802 in this livery a product of a collaboration with DTG and someone else? Like, is there a bigger picture behind the scenes? It just doesn't really make sense to me. With the game being in its current state, development time being given to what's ultimately just a livery. Not a fan of how that's implemented, in all honesty. Okay, my girlfriend was to test me. I'm gonna make the play. She was to test you how, Mark? I'll tell you what, I am happy to take a breather from the releases that we've had in March. Like, I am not mad about things slowing down. Me being able to give my time to some different games. Just not worrying about getting content out. Recording stuff at bloody 5 in the morning. Going to go Taco Bell, then McDonald's, then KFC. Taco, apparently it's taco. I always got slack for that. Calling it taco instead of taco. Taco Bell. Taco Bell is, honestly, I love it. But oh my god, are they like stingy. It's not a great value at all. And as good as it is, it's not that good. That will be a place I go to regularly and give them money for not much in return. Yeah, if you really want to test her, and test yourself, get married. I don't think it's raining anymore. Oh no, it still is. Definitely still is. It's always interesting. It never looks like it's raining until you turn off your wipers. Then all of a sudden it becomes very apparent that it's still raining. I don't think you'll be able to pick it up on the stream. Also, just a reminder, if you are struggling to watch at 1080p on Twitch, go onto YouTube. There should be all the other options as well. I cannot believe I was sort of just losing my mind at why all of a sudden the other options weren't available, and it had nothing to do with me the entire time. It is kind of concerning that, you know, Amazon are making as many cuts to Twitch as they are, considering the amount of money that they seem to make. Try to dump me when I land. Well, let's hope it doesn't go that way, Mark. And hey, if she does, maybe she wasn't the one for you. Yeah, I am convinced that the time the CIFA alert on the 147 that it takes before it starts shouting at you is not correct. I think it legit gives you about 2 seconds, whereas it's meant to give you 4, if I'm not mistaken. Oh boy. I used to always have like hay fever tablets with me. It's funny about when it comes to hay fever because I used to make fun of people that had hay fever. And I used to say, how are you getting bullied by plants? How are plants putting so much pressure on you? And lo and behold, Mr. Karma has come knocking at the door. I had it really bad one year. And then it sort of has been fine, relatively speaking, since then. I need to now cook up the next TSW video idea. I tend to just let the ideas come to me, hence why I don't have too many of like talking videos. I think I had 2 in a row with like the Class90 one and the one that came out today. Just because it came, like, I think I was talking about the video and then someone said something. And then as I was replying to that, I realized, oh, hold on a second, this could be a video. I think we were talking about just the state of March releases. And then the idea just came into my head to make a video on it. I don't like to force ideas. I think, although watching a video or like just listening to someone speaking is a digital experience, and you're not like with the person, or it may not be someone that you know personally. I think as human beings we do have a particular discernment towards not necessarily BS, but more, I don't know, a lack of genuinity. That's a word I can use. And I think it's easy to make negative content as well, which does work for some. I don't know. I pride myself on just being balanced, fair, honest, and genuine, really, whatever the cost. I think I might need to browse the forum for some ideas, although I will say I don't browse the forums. I browse the forums when I'm on public transport. If I'm on the train or the bus, I'll take that time to browse the forums. And if I'm at work, nothing goes on at work a lot of the time, so I'm just kind of chilling there, so I'm able to just go through like all the threads. So I'm actually not really there that often.
geehrte Reisende,
Also,
herzlich
I
willkommen
found it
im Zug
interesting in the
RB
roadmap
nach Würzburg
that they
Hauptbahnhof.
said
Wir wünschen Ihnen eine angenehme Reise.
that the March
Nächste
releases were
Station
quite good
Bietigheim-Bissingen.
for blurry
Ausstieg
textures.
in Fahrtrichtung
Now,
links.
although it seems like there has been a reduction, either I'm making it up or I recall seeing a number of people saying that they had blurry textures one way or another on the new releases. Now, I could just be making that up in my head, but when I read that, something within me sort of, like an alarm went off within me, and it just seemed, you know, like that, you know, like that fake positivity that companies sometimes do, just to make things look good, even though it's not really all that good. It seemed like that kind of thing, which is a little bit concerning. But maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm off. You're pretty honest and down to earth, even though you're ambassador, you're not gonna lie. Well, if you go back quite a bit, Grumpy, to Christmas, when Dovetail put out that schedule with all the ambassador content, you'll see my name there. I did do a fun little Christmas request a route stream. But that's like the only time my handle's been like publicly displayed from Dovetail themselves. There was a recent, was it February, where there was a bunch of like ambassador streams. That one I didn't partake in, so I didn't show up on that one. I was so sure, like, anyone that's been there for a while will tell you, I was so certain that I was, I mean, it got to a point, right? So I went for a couple play lab sessions before I became ambassador. I do find it quite interesting, actually, that I haven't been invited to any sits, because I've been like putting myself down. I've been applying for them or registering for them. I just don't hear anything, which is interesting, because the two that I went to were like the first two, so it seemed like I was going to all of them, and then it just stops. But I spoke to the person there who like wasn't, they're not part of like development or like like that side of the game, but they were more for stuff like the play lab session. And I remember I was telling him, like, yeah, you know, I make content, I stream, I you know, it's, but we were just talking, and I was like, yeah, I don't think Dovetail really like me though, because I'm quite critical, you know, sometimes too critical maybe, and it's a bit weird because I had Jamie on the Train Sim World channel pop up on my TSW5 release day stream. He popped in to say hello. So I've been seen, and for a long time, I was consistently the highest viewed TSW streamer on Twitch, like for over a year. I think the numbers have sort of gone down a little bit now. I think that's just due to the general disinterest in the game, though, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there was a time when, you know, like, it seemed like possibly a no-brainer, dare I say, to at least consider me for an ambassadorship. And so I just come to the conclusion that, yeah, they don't really like me. And I told the guy, I was like, I'm not going to change it, because that's sort of like what I pride myself on. And he was like, no, I don't think so. You know, I don't think it's that. Like, they wouldn't discriminate based off that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that sounds nice, but, you know, Yeah, putting everything into perspective. And so I was yeah, very surprised when the invitation came through. Very surprised. And I'm glad as well. It's one thing for somebody to say, you know, it's one thing for someone to talk the talk, and it can be a whole other thing to walk the walk. And yeah, I was always confident when I was saying that I wouldn't do anything differently if I was to be an ambassador. But I still got to prove that. And I got to prove that to myself before I prove it to anyone else. And I'm proud of that. I am proud of that. Because it's been a privilege, man. It's I don't take it lightly at all. Being in that position. And, you know, if I was to lose it due to whatever reason, like, it would suck. There's no denying it. It's a very privileged position. And I'm glad that I can use it to benefit the players and to benefit like thousands of people. Now, am I known by thousands of people? Probably not. But hey, if someone was to just stumble upon the channel and some of the videos I make, I would hope that they would have found them helpful. Like my Class90, the one that came with the nuclear, the cargo line volume 5, the nuclear one. I made a video on that, basically saying, well, it was a video based off that, where I was basically saying, look, I'm sorry, because I saw how bad this DLC was before release, and I didn't say anything I didn't give a warning to players. And it was basically an apology video for that. So it only had like 60 views. It probably still only has 60 views. And I think something like that would have been good to have been noticed, just so people know that, okay, this is a place they can come to save their pockets, or to save them from disappointment, or, you know, anything of the sort. But yeah, I mean, I guess you know, I don't know, things change with time, and it will always be difficult, you know. I mean, realistically, within the space that I'm in, I'm going up against not like it's an actual problem with these people, but just in terms of competition, if we're going to call a spade within this space. British Ace, who is like the top guy that people go to for TSW content, I think. You've got Richie Rail, you've got Train Sim Society, who isn't an ambassador but is a content creator for TSW. You've got Hentis Rail. You know, these are people that are a lot more established, a lot more known. And when we're already dealing with a very, very, very niche genre, it's going to be really difficult to break out. But I think time has its way with things, and it will separate the what's that biblical metaphor? Separate the wheat from the grain. There's a metaphor that I'd like to use that I think is quite accurate here. But yeah, because at the end of the day, I actually don't watch other ambassador content. You'd be surprised. I don't watch any other TSW content. So I don't really know what's going on in other channels, but just from the general reception from the players, there's quite a lot of frustration. And every time I see that frustration, I just tell myself, like, I don't go out and like boast or go and post my channel everywhere, right? But every time I'd go and see something that someone has said about an ambassador, I always think to myself, oh man, you know, the exact thing you're complaining about, I think it'd be very at home with me. But I don't know, you can't force it, you know. Even if you could, like, it would have an effect if I posted my stuff everywhere naturally, but I feel like that would just be annoying. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Just let things happen naturally. Um, and yeah, like ultimately, if people and at the same time, there are people that just don't like me. I am very open with a whole host of things. I will, if we talk about a topic, I will be so open and like me about it, right? I have a policy on my channel, on my chat, where there's nothing that you can't talk about. A lot of people seem to be quite concerned with particular topics. My friend, be comfortable here. You are more than welcome to talk about anything you want to talk about, give your opinion on anything. The only thing I'm not going to allow is bullying and just like rage bait speculation, you know? I don't like people talking without facts. If you're going to make a particular point, controversial or not, back it up. Back it up. But if you're going to talk based on emotions and what you think and what you feel, then I think there's a lot less validity there. When will I drive the Class 90 again, Mark? After this service, after this run. Some DTG ambassadors are shocking. Is it that bad? I used to watch Megasin before he was, and he changed a lot after becoming one. Really? I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't, obviously I can't speak on that myself, and I don't know the fella, but if that is the case, then it's disappointing, man. It's just, I think trust is so valuable, man. Trust is priceless. Priceless. And to sell out for something so insignificant. I mean, hey, maybe to someone this is so significant, and it's worth selling out, and it's worth their soul. But in my opinion, it's just not that. It's not that deep, man. It really isn't that deep. What was wrong with nuclear? Oh boy, oh boy. So the wagons themselves, yeah. Well, I mean, it was one, right? The wagon itself wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible. I actually kind of liked it. As a matter of fact, I was disappointed it wasn't made more use of. There was one particular feature on that where you can check the locks. So there's like padlocks on the wagons, and you can check them. And it's nothing more than a gimmick. Like, you just click it, and then it says locked. But that would have been cute to use in a scenario. The scenarios were very basic. They were all just drive A to B, A to B, A to B. There was nothing like fun. I mean, you're hauling bloody nuclear like waste. That's a lot. There's a lot of potential there for some exciting stuff. But it was so boring, so basic with regards to the scenarios. So few timetable runs, which makes sense in reality. There's not too much going on with nuclear waste on the railway. But the Class 20, oh my god, that was like, it was bad. It was bad, and it still is bad. It's very bugged. Forgive me for not remembering many of the things that are wrong with it, but two that I can call off the top of my head. One of them being, there's so much flickering that goes on in the cab with all the instruments. So much flickering, flicker constantly. The textures on some of the gauges are an atrocity. Some lights on like certain buttons are on when they shouldn't be. Like, you haven't pressed them, you haven't interacted with them. They show that they're active when they're not, and they shouldn't be. Those are the three that I can tell you straight off the top of my head. There were a lot of others. It was by far the worst Skyhook DLC, bar the 187, that I've encountered. I also made a video criticizing Skyhook, criticizing their cargo line stuff. Didn't get many views, naturally. But yeah, I've been vocal, man. I've been vocal for a while. Hello, Nabil. How you doing, my man? Bad news about the car. Well, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I spoke to the company today that would take care of the finance, and they had like all of these checkboxes that needed to be ticked before they would move forward. The car needs to be minimum from 2017, less than 100k miles. What else was there? I think there were some other things, but when I put all of those things and then search for a car that suits all of what they're looking for, with a £1,000 deposit, all I get for the vast majority of the cars that pop up were Vauxhall Zefiras. So it seems like I'm gonna have to settle for that. I found a nice one, a nicely specs one. It's like the engine's not super powerful, but in terms of like the it's like top end. It's a top end Zafira. And ultimately I think I would be okay with it. So I sent them like all the stuff they've been asking. It's just been back and forth today, back and forth. Now they've sent over, I mean, they're asking for stuff that I just like don't have. Like they want like my bank statement for March, but I don't have, that's not available to me yet. My bank take a while to prepare the statement, so I can't really do much. So it's just been so many obstacles, man. So many obstacles. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if like I'm unable to do it just because of how many hurdles I have to jump through. Maybe I can try a different company, but I might just have to end up like just buying outright something a lot less cool, which I've got. I already have in mind what I want, but yeah, I don't like settling, man. I don't like settling. Like I had something in my mind and I want that thing. Those guys are not always honest. TSS only wanting views. TSS only wanting views. Wow. You know what, Grumpy? I'm gonna applaud you here, because although TSS can be very honest, which we all appreciate, it's very it's that negative. I don't watch all of his videos. I've seen one or two, but he seems to have this like negative clickbaity kind of aura around his content, which will get you views. It will absolutely get you views. People lap up negativity, but I think he does it to an extreme level, and because people just sort of tend to like that, they automatically, especially in the TSW community, we automatically have a tendency to put negativity and honesty together. So if you're not being negative, you're not being honest. So whenever I've seen people talk about TSS, it's always been like he's a god because of how negative he is. But that shouldn't necessarily be your compass for honesty. I've heard good things about TSD actually. Yeah. Oh, she knows you're the captain, Mark. When you become one, do you have terms and shit to agree to? You got an NDA to sign, which obviously, covers Dovetail's ass from you saying, "Oh, this is gonna come. Oh, this route's gonna come. Oh, hey guys, this is going on in the background." So you sign an NDA just to sort of stop you from doing that. But there's no limitations on giving your opinion, how negative you can be, how positive you can be. Like they don't say anything regarding how you present your content. The only sort of rules that are in place are don't give out information that's not public, basically. Can I spell it, Nabil? Zafira. Skyhook making Lawnmower Sim 2. Was the first one really that popular? Hey, each of their own, right? I know something like Power Washer Simulator was really popular, but Nabil told me some of the DLCs that are available for Lawnmower Sim, and they don't necessarily imply a very popular title. But look, more power to them, right? More power to them. If it works for them, great, I guess. Back to the e-Berlingo, absolutely not, Nabil. Absolutely not, bro. Negative videos get big views when we post a video of TSW is falling apart. Nicely posted videos and TSW features bright. Yeah. Like if you're able to sort of disassociate or decouple yourself from lapping everything up and take a logical look at, anyone's content, you will see things will become very obvious that weren't so obvious before. But I think a lot of people, like I said, just see him as this god. And whatever he says, you know, is true. And hey, I mean, like, each of their own, right? It's working out for him. He is doing very well in terms of like views and subs and stuff like that in terms of like our genre. But it's not for me personally. It's not for me personally. And I'm very content with that. It's not going to sway me to to do something similar. But hey, negativity isn't always terrible. What's that other channel? DC something 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 numbers productions. He's super negative from what I've like heard. And he doesn't get as many numbers as TSS does. Welcome to the Discord, Grumpy. Apparently Lawnmower Sim was. I mean, hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I don't know how many like downloads and like average players it has. But hey, if people are enjoying it, good for them. Good for them. Remember, he also stops comments on his channel. What? That's not great. I thought it's bad enough when Twitch streamers will make their chat follower only. Members only chat is interesting. Very interesting. On a video as well. Like if it was on a live stream, I would be maybe a bit more understanding of it. But for a video, that's icky, man. I won't lie, that's icky. That's icky. That's icky. Like how far are you willing to go for a bit of cash, you know? I don't know. Each of their own. Each of their own. I think everyone's entitled to their own principles. Everyone's entitled to their own boundaries. But boy, everyone's also entitled to their opinion, and I'm entitled to mine, and I think that's a bit icky. Oh. The guy's in New Zealand, he has points, but yeah, a bit too much. Yeah, I watched one of his videos. And the rest I've just heard from like different people, like just giving their opinion, basically. And yeah, it's just that same. It seems to be the same general feedback that people give to his content. But hey, if in his opinion, content or the game is as bad as he puts it out there to be, I think that's fine. You know, if he's got his own expectations for the game and those expectations are really high and logical and sensible, I don't know if they are, but if they are, then I think that's okay. I think that's okay. My opinion on that would be different. I think you have to adapt your expectations. Like, since TSW4, I've been advising and acting on it myself, people to not get your hopes up. When it comes to TSW, don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up that bugs are going to get fixed. Don't get your hopes up that things are going to go in a decent sell. Don't get your hopes up that such and such train is going to be put into the game, or a particular variation of the train is going to be put into the game. Just don't have your hopes up in the game. If something comes and it's pleasing to you, it's a good surprise. It's nice. Enjoy it. But then if something happens that would have been disappointing, you were already expecting it. So therefore, you end up being okay. It's not like a huge issue. And that mentality from me came from just being burned one too many times. Like, it gets to a point where you have to sort of now use your brain a bit and say, okay, I keep doing the same thing, having the same expectations and the same hopes, and it keeps disappointing me again and again. So why would I continue doing that? Why would I continue allowing myself to be disappointed? And since then, I've just had fun. Without having any expectations, there have been no disappointments, and I've just been having fun. There's been complaints. I think I can still identify things that go wrong and comment on them and form an opinion. But all in all, I'm not like put off necessarily. And even when TSW4 was coming to its end and TSW5 was coming, I said from the get-go, it's going to be the same thing. When TSW5 came to an end and TSW6 was coming, I said it's going to be the same game. If you're going to pre-order this, and I'm pre-ordering it, no, you're buying the same game that you're playing right now. And that's what ultimately ended up happening. And if TSW6 was completely like a new direction for the game and just blew our hats off, then that would have been a great surprise. But as it was exactly the same as TSW5, it was within expectations. And so it was cool. It was completely fine. I got him and other people called him out on it. TSS has 2 channels. Is there a reason why it's 2 channels? Or I guess what I'm poking at is there like a suspicious reason for why he has 2 channels? When TSW7, I mean, going off history, when TSW6 was, when TSW5 was, when TSW4 was, when TSW3 was, when TSW2 probably was. I don't actually know when TSW2 came out. I started playing during that life cycle. And going off all of those, it's probably going to be another TSW6, which is another TSW5, which is another TSW4, which is another TSW3, which is another TSW2 post Unreal Engine update. I actually made that exact video for TSW5. If you watch my thoughts on TSW5, or should you buy it on TSW5, something like that, I said the exact same thing. I said this is basically TSW2 post Unreal Engine update. That's what this is. This game right now is TSW2. Everything that's been added since, the new lighting, the features, everything that we have seen new after TSW2 could have been added to TSW2. So, for me mentally, in my mind, I'm playing TSW2. And how better of a state would the game have been if that was actually the case? If they had stuck with TSW2 and just kept adding and adding and adding? Because we've had so many bugs and issues simply from moving from one iteration to another. I mean, heck, a route could be working completely fine in one iteration, and then in the next iteration it's a complete mess. I've heard that so many times from people. How does that even happen? How does that even happen? Hello JFK, how you doing, boss? Good to see you, welcome. Another channel, someone looks into him and he has different names but the same voice. What if he's using AI and the other channel just happens to be using the same AI voice? How about that for a conspiracy? Let me get my foil hat. To be fair, the new TSW is always decently priced. You think so? Oh, I don't know. Actually, okay, you know what? All things considered, you're getting the same base game, yeah? Maybe they'll add some funky, fancy features that no one's going to use. But at its core, it's the same game. But you get 3 new routes. Now, it gets a bit technical when you don't like all of those routes, or you only like one of them. But the proposition is, you get 3 new routes, basically, for the price of 1. I believe, like with the standard edition is usually priced like 1 good DLC, right? But it comes with 3 DLCs. So from that side of things, it's actually very good value, really good bloody value. It's only when you start to get into the deluxe and the special editions that the value is still good. It's still better than buying everything individually, but not as good of a proposition as the standard edition. Nowhere near. Listen, mate, I do what I do. I say what I say. I am who I am, not to be liked, man. You know, it's not to be liked. There's been a lot of people that, you know, were here often and are no longer here often. I think that's due to me. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I've all my entire life I've valued honesty, my entire life, which was ironic because I was a pretty good liar while I was in like school and college, but I always valued respect and like just being genuine and stuff like that. So yeah, try not to overdo it, but yeah. I think Dovetail are okay with me though. I think they're okay with me. There are, Nabil knows there are some also some potential outliers there. Won't go into, but I think yeah, I don't think they have any issue with me. I'm quite vocal in the Ambassador Discord in like trying to help them out with bugs and like what they could do better, raising what I would consider logical arguments against some decisions they made. I was having a conversation with Alex 2 weeks ago about a decision that was made, and it was a healthy discussion. He said that there was a decision that Dovetail made regarding this route, and I was basically pushing back on it a little bit. I didn't think it was the right move, and in all fairness, you know, it was a good conversation. Alex was quite considerate of the points I was making, and yeah, said he was going to take it back and have it discussed. I think they're okay with me. I'm lucky the contrast day in TSW is fairly cheap compared to Europe. Oh yeah, listen, it's better now, but still not great. But especially Switzerland and Poland. I mean, Switzerland, we're paying the equivalent of almost, I think, like 10 quid more than like us in the UK. And yeah, fair enough. Generally speaking, they're a wealthy country, but that's not okay to do. From the little that I've read, I think Dovetail could do something about it, but just never have. And that really muddies the water and makes things blurry a little bit, because when we're now discussing the matter of price and value, now we're not all dealing with the same numbers, which really makes things messy. I learned honesty is better from my dad because he'd beat the shit out of. He did his job. Honestly. He did his job. I think if you're gonna beat something into a child, let it be good values, you know? Let it be good values, man. In a world where values are increasingly less and less decreasingly appreciated, I think it's important. It's priceless. Consider being angry for honesty. Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I've seen, just from talking to DTG staff on the Ambassador Discord, they're aware. They're aware of a lot of things. They're aware that things aren't perfect. They know that things are not ideal. I mean, the cascade of releases in March, you know, people don't think. I mean, even the ambassadors that are that people always see as very positive. There were a lot of complaints from us in that Discord, from almost all of us. Okay, I say almost all of us, not almost all of us. Like, there's only about 30% of us that actually like engage in talking in that Discord. A lot of people seem to just be there. I don't know, just like they're just there. But out of the bunch that do talk on that Discord, all of us were voicing our, disappointment in what was going on, and it was like received well. It was received well. They knew it wasn't ideal. I mean, ultimately, things still happened the way they happened, right? But yeah, they're a lot more realistic than what it might seem like on the forums, for example, where, I mean, they don't really talk much there anyway anymore. But ultimately, they're still going to do what they're going to do. So I don't know how valuable, that kind of down-to-earthness really is. But at least we don't feel like we're talking to aliens, basically. Personally think TSW being the same game as on console was wrong. Should have had 2 separate games. If that was the case, which does have some sense to it, the game would have been so far backwards compared to where it is right now. Because think about how much extra work, and DTG seem to be quite stingy in terms of, I don't know, like teams or employees and stuff like that. Like I can't understand to this day why the preservation team were disbanded. Doesn't make any sense to me, but it does seem like it was for money. I believe a lot of the things get outsourced as well for like cheaper labor, so clearly there is a bit of stinginess at hand. So with that in mind, taking care of 2 different but same games, it would have just caused so many more issues. I think so many more issues. Even though maybe it would be the more sensible choice, the actual reality would be bad, I think. Right, let's get this Class90 16-minute run out of the way, and then I would have ticked off that journey mode. Is it true the PC play base? No one really knows, aside from those who actually have the numbers, what exactly the the split is. The last we were told back in TSW 5, or the beginning of TSW 5 or the end of TSW 4, somewhere around then, was that it was a fairly equal split between between PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Now, how true that is, we can't say. What the current situation is, we can't say. But it does seem like, generally speaking, the PC side of things is growing. Like I've seen a lot on the forums of people saying, "Oh, I moved to PC. I've moved to PC. I've moved to PC," and I don't know. It just gives the sense that that's where the majority are probably going towards. But ultimately, we will just never know. We'll just never know. Because bear in mind as well, it's easy to gather data from Steam. Like Steam has certain information public. But then what about Epic? What about Epic Games? We don't have a clue about how many plays are on Epic. And I think as long as there's a significant enough number of players on consoles, they will continue to be catered to. There is no doubt that PC is the best platform to play on. No doubt. Anyone that argues that, with all due respect, I don't think really knows what they're talking about. Like, mods aside, for me, mods are a massive part of the PC experience. But even mods aside, blurry sections are at a minimum. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually had them, believe it or not. Once or twice, I've had them for a fleeting moment, but they were there. But they're nowhere near as bad as console. the like you got access to full timetables. No one has to worry about reduced timetables or missing layers and stuff like that. You can enhance the game graphically. You can like actually also meddle with specific settings as well that you wouldn't be able to do on console. I mean, there's just so many reasons, man. So many reasons. Like keyboard access, which for some reason randomly stops being officially supported on consoles, or at least on PlayStation. That was weird. Like keyboard and mouse just stopped being compatible, whereas they were before, and a lot of people used keyboard and mouse to play on console. So yeah, all them little weird things you just kind of don't have to deal with on PC. That was insane. That was insane. But with all these DLCs, right, and how big they're getting, it's inevitable. PlayStation had the issue first. Back in TSW 3, I think, there was a massive issue with regards to DLCs on PlayStation. The same mountain issue that we're seeing now, it happened already. And that was why the add-on manager was a thing, to counter that. Now the Epic game, then the Epic game thing happened. That was bad. That was so bad. And if I was working at Dovetail and had a a decently high position there, I would really, really, really do my best to not forget that. That was quite a serious situation. And now we've got another PlayStation 5 another PlayStation mounting issue. And after this gets sorted, if it does, at some point down the line, if things continue the way they're going, we are going to have another issue. And at some point, it's going to be an issue that no one can do anything, that no one can fix. And I've been saying for a good couple of years now that the entire game as a whole is like a Jenga tower with two of the bits from the bottom removed. The base of it is so unstable, it's going to collapse under its own weight at some point. You can't build a house on sand. You can't build a house on sand. At some point, it's going to give way. And there's just not enough being done, in my opinion, to prevent that from happening. Like, things are just happening as they always... things are being done as they always have been done. And it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And I'm still saying, as I've been saying for years, one day the game will collapse under its own weight. To me, it's inevitable. And we'll enjoy the game as much as we can up until that point, and we'll enjoy the new releases and everything. But one day, there is a wall that will be hit. Honestly, you should. You should. Like, it's a no-brainer, man. It's a no-brainer. Everyone should mod their game, because it's not just about... usually in games, generally speaking, you can mod some funky stuff, right? Make the game just funny, funky, more entertaining. The majority of the mods for the game make it a better experience. Make it more realistic. Make it look better, fix some bugs. There are a lot of mods that fix bugs, which is embarrassing, frankly. Like, you end up getting the experience, or maybe getting closer to the experience that the game should have always been. Like the whole West Coast Mainline South nonsense with a billion different timetables. There is one mod that brings in one timetable with everything in it. With everything in it. Why couldn't that have been done by default? Oh, because people don't like to work together. Oh, there's too many DLCs. Oh, one more layer is going to make things unstable. Oh, this, oh, that. And it's just, I mean, it's just a skew city, man, when it comes to why the game can't be what it should be. And then there's like the branding, for example. Anywhere where branding isn't in the game, you can have that. Okay, I've just been emergency brake. Oh, TPWS, I assume. Yeah. Okay. Oh, are we coming towards a red? That was one yellow though. That was one yellow signal that we just had. Okay. Usually it's 2 yellows and then a red. Very well. Also, you'll see what I said in my video. So I'm gonna do it now actually. So I'm gonna put my brakes in emergency, right? There you go. Train brake emergency. That red light's gonna clear and the brakes are gonna release. You can see it live in action, just in case someone had any doubts about that particular point that I made. There you go. Red light's off, brakes have released. But my brakes are in emergency. So... Anyway, I think that horse has been beaten enough. You know, things are going to be done. Although, like I said previously, in all honesty, I am not super hopeful. You know, the roadmap said they're going to deal with like the priority fixes first, right? And then the other stuff is going to come later. I am very concerned about that. Very concerned. Because there'll be stuff that they say will come now. Like, for example, every time a DLC containing the Class 170 comes out, it's always, yeah, the sound fixes are going to come. The sound fixes are going to come with this one. The sound fixes are going to come with this one. And they don't. So I am very concerned for something that even they will say will come later. Are we talking TSW 8? 9? Is it going to come at all? I think we will be here on the 7th of April 2027 with probably TSW 7 still talking about the Class 90 not being good enough. As a matter of fact, hold me to that. Clip this, save it, hold me to it. I'm certain, I'm confident that on the 7th of April 2027, when we talk about this particular train, the conversation won't be too different. Oh yeah, of course there's no wheel slip. I can just put the throttle to max. Even if it was raining, even if it was snowing. I do feel sorry for Island. What was any fault from his side is obviously his responsibility, but I believe if it was up to him, and this is going to lead into another conversation, another topic, if it was up to him, a lot of things would probably have been sorted out by now. But going into that, how much better would it be for third parties, for players, if for third-party content, the third parties were in charge of releasing fixes? With so much backed up in the like waiting list, it must really suck. I mean, TSG have complained about it. I think Just Trains have complained about it. I wouldn't be surprised if there are others as well. It must be so frustrating being unable to do anything about having a better fixed version of your content ready. but the people in charge of pushing it out aren't doing so. Can't imagine that being fun at all. If you do want to mod your game, Grumpy, by the way, I do have a tutorial on my channel for that. It's quite an old one. I originally recorded it for TSW2, but surprise, surprise, it's the exact same thing for all the other TSWs. No worries, mate. And of course, if you have any questions, you know, I'm always here to answer anything within my level of knowledge. Single yellow does mean red. It does. Was that single yellow then that we went through before the red? If it was the case, did we go through a double yellow beforehand? It may just be that I was distracted in my talking and not completely paying attention. But I'm pretty certain we had just passed one yellow signal. I can't say I remember it being single or double, but I know I was expecting another yellow. And I've got a tablet open with like the signal information, which is why I've been able to turn it off in the game. And I was quite confused when it said stop instead of approach, which is what it does for yellows. Oh, I just meant as in like a single yellow signal. A single yellow signal as a whole. But I don't remember whether the signal itself was a single one or a double one. I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Could it be that it's prototypical for like moving into a siding? I don't know 100% of the railway regulations in the UK, so possibly. But I can say I've never encountered that anywhere else on any other UK route, so I would say it's highly unlikely. Medway Valley Line. I'm confused about this one because I have, right, we've got 50 minutes left. I've got a God mode temporary file which should make it so that God mode is effective on this route, but it's not. I don't quite know why. It's always 2 Tango 08. Also, Nabil, I was wrong about when you've got a signal code with more than 3 digits, you take the last 3, not the first 3. Thank goodness DTG does not charge for bugs. They do. They absolutely do, though. They charge you for content that's bugged. So, ultimately, They do charge us for bugs. Whoops. Oh, hello. Didn't see that there. I'm yet to drive a 395 on here. I think it will come on the last chapter of the journey mode. I hope so anyway. Thank you very much, Nabil, for the breakdown of what a face cam actually is for those who may not know. I've turned it off because I feel like crap, brother. I'd rather not be on camera. I did say I was going to turn it on before the end of the stream. I don't think I will. It's for the deaf. That's amazing, man. Thank you, bro. You know, really inclusive. That's really good stuff, man. Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you, mate. Are you gonna go watch the stream? Hello, Carda. How you doing, mate? Congrats on the affiliation. What affiliation? Who am I affiliated with? Hello, Mr. Ambassador. To you too. From a TSW ambassador to a from a Dovetail ambassador to a Simco ambassador. Twitch showed that in the chat. It showed what in the chat? What did the message say? What is? I don't know what Twitch is doing these days. You know, Card. I'll be honest, mate. I don't know what Twitch is doing these days. I realized that the issue with the other resolutions not being available to watch is from Twitch. It's not me. I've been losing my mind here. I'll get into bed, Grumpy. Take care, my man. Thank you very much for coming on today. Thank you for the chat. Have a great evening, man. It wasn't my fault, Carter. It wasn't my fault, mate. If you go on YouTube and you go on my stream, you will see all the resolutions. They're available for you to enjoy. Twitch are they're becoming scared. They're scared of becoming broke. Well, see, that's the thing, Carter. I don't stream only to Twitch. I go through Restream. That's what allows me to stream to both YouTube and Twitch. So I've seen a couple of solutions online when I did my research, including that one. And it works if you're streaming directly to Twitch, which I don't. That particular setting option, it doesn't show. It doesn't show up at all for me. There's another one that there's that one, and there's also another one. It's called man, I can't remember at the moment, but there is another one that's also only for if you're streaming to Twitch. But see, here's the interesting thing. I've always streamed to Restream, even when all those other resolutions were available. So nothing's changed from my side. I'm streaming to the exact same address. I'm using the exact same key that I was using previously.
If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
if restream was the reason, then why doesn't it affect YouTube? Why is it that on YouTube you can select 720p, 480p? Jesus Christ, bless me.
The next station is Horling.
I don't have like a huge like there's not a big viewership on YouTube, but like enough people use it to the point where I wouldn't want to remove that like option from people for people. Oh no! In terms of the frame rate, it's still 30. I've still kept it at 30. I think that's the best I can do for people who only want to use Twitch and are forced to only watch at 1080p. I think if I make it 60, it makes it a bit more difficult for people with
Will shortly be arriving at
like low internet speeds. Oh boy. Emergency it is. Put the anchors on. I think the train's fully in the platform. I'm not gonna check.
Welcome aboard this southeastern service to Paddock Wood, calling at Snodland, New Hype, Aylesford, Maidstone Barrow,
What's going on, Mark?
Maidstone West, East Farley, Wateringbury, Yalding, Beltring, and Paddock Wood.
It's stuck on a taxiway. Why? What's going on?
The next station is Snodland.
Planes are blocking it, so it's having a standoff.
If you notice something out of the ordinary,
What time are you due to take off tonight?
text us on 61016 and we'll get it sorted. That's 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
But you're due to take off at 7:40. And you're like, what? That doesn't make sense, does it? How quick is the turnaround time gonna be? It's 20. It's gone past 20 past as it is. So you've got less than 20 minutes before takeoff time.
We will shortly be arriving
Whoops.
at Snodland.
Yeah, Spain is an hour ahead. So right now it's 20 past 8 in Spain, or just gone 20 past 8. Oh boy, not again. Ugh. Doors should be inside the platform. If the plane can move. That's a very quick turnaround time.
Southeastern service to Paddock Wood, calling at New Heights, Aylesford, Maidstone,
Sorry, ASR, I missed your chat. The only thing that Twitch tells you is that I'm in fact a Dovetail Games ambassador. Oh yeah, no, that yeah, I put that there. But Carter said it says it in chat, so I'm assuming it was like a Twitch message that said it. You need to load up the plane of bags. Yeah, and doesn't it need to refuel as well and be cleaned? And get all the passengers, get the current passengers, or get the plane to the gate. Get the passengers out, get all their luggage out, clean it, get the passengers in, get the luggage in, refuel. Seems like a lot to be done in less than 20 minutes. Or 15 minutes now. Oh, it came empty. Okay, well that helps a lot. Still though, it's a lot to do in 15 minutes.
We will shortly be arriving at New Heights.
Bag will take 20 minutes, fuel 30 minutes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
The southeastern service to Paddock Wood, calling at
So you're going to be flying out quite late.
Barracks, Maidstone West, East Farley, Wateringbury, Yalding, Beltring, and Paddock Wood.
Loading up the test dummy. What's that? I've never heard of that. Oh, right. Right. But the plane will be like refueling while the passengers are getting on, isn't it? So you're killing two birds with one stone there. You call them test dummies. Well, I mean, I guess it's one way or another, everyone on the plane is.
The next station is Aylesford.
That would be pretty cool to give her one. It's always very cool seeing the cockpit as a just like a member of the public. And I guess that coolness factor probably doesn't really disappear, even for you guys as pilots.
We will shortly be arriving at Aylesford. Welcome aboard this southeastern service to Paddock Wood, Calling Arms, Maidstone Barracks, Maidstone West, East Farley, Wateringbury, Yalding, Beltring, and Paddock Wood.
How long does that process take, JFK? Let's say like everything was to go smoothly from start to getting your license. How long would that process take? She's got to wait till all the passengers get off. Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, I've seen like people get a cheeky look like during boarding, but I'm assuming with the tight schedule on
The
hand,
next station is
at hand, I should
Maidstone
say,
Barracks.
that would be a little bit difficult. Depends on how much you fly. Okay. How many hours do you need to qualify? There's no legroom on this plane. That's usually the case with a small aircraft. The toilet doesn't work. Okay, well, I mean, it's not the longest flight of all time, but could get interesting. $25 with instructor, 10 with solo. That's gonna feel special, man. That's gonna be really special. Just from my little experience flying in VR on in a Cessna, even virtually, it felt it just felt so peaceful being above all the bullshit on land. I could get the buckets. Sounds more fitting for a couple other airlines I won't mention. Yeah, Cessna makes sense. It's usually the go-to for those types of flights. Hello, Fab. Addicted to DBD, as I'm not in the streams a lot recently. DBD. What's DBD? I know DBZ as Dragon Balls. She's really having a shot at you? Why? Why? You ain't done anything wrong. Won a Steam gift card in an OMSI screenshot competition. Let's go, bro. Care to say how much? How much it's worth, or would you rather keep that to yourself? Oh, Dead by Daylight. Is that game still like popping off then? I see a lot of people streaming it. Seems like the devs are doing a pretty good job with that game. It's been going on for like, what, a decade or more? 10 euros. Aye, there's a lot you can do with 10 euros, boss. There's a lot you can do with 10 euros. Especially on a decent sale.
We will shortly be arriving at Maidstone Barracks.
I'm coming in hot. Emergency for the 3rd time today. All right, Fab, go enjoy it, man. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you.
Watering Green, Yuilding, Beltring, and Paddock Wood.
You just got to turn your plane into a Concorde, mate. Then you would have that would be a no-brainer.
The next station is Maidstone West. We will shortly be arriving at Maidstone West. aboard this southeastern service to Paddock Wood, calling at East Farley, Watering Green, Yalding, Beltring, and Paddock Wood.
Can €10 get you GTA 6? Yes, but probably in 2030 in a summer sale. Oh my god. That was not ideal.
The next station is East Farley.
Is ambitious. Maybe so, you know. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic for you. Just crack the windows open, Mark. You'll be alright. You know what, Nabil? I've been thinking every now and then that is what will end up happening. Like, they've had all the time. Okay, you're still refining the game or whatever the hell's going on that's keeping it this long. No problem. But they've got plenty of time to work on the PC version as well and get it out. Is there no air conditioning in it, Mark? What a disaster, mate. Sounds about right for EasyJet.
We will shortly be arriving at East Farley.
Could be worth a shot, Cardar. Could be worth a shot. The thing is, I can only really test it. You'll give it a go tomorrow. I'll give it a go tomorrow. maybe tomorrow's stream will be only like Twitch only, even so like so I can properly test it out and make sure that it works. So maybe tomorrow's stream is Twitch only. If it works all good, then I'll change it back for Thursday, and then we go from there.
Paddockwood, Calling Out, Wateringbury, Hilding, Beltring, and Paddockwood.
Mark, if you're in the plane, shouldn't you be doing all the pre-flight stuff right now? Already done? That was quick. Ah, the other captain done it. Okay.
The next station is Wateringbury.
Oh, you drove there. Sick. 44 cents cheaper. Definitely worth it, man. That is crazy, man. The fact that that wasn't even a thing before. Like, I would have thought that would have been like a standard rule. Because how can a gas station keep changing the prices like throughout the day? Are Jet2 any better than though, Mark? I don't know. They're both budget airlines, isn't it? So I feel like they would have the same or similar issues. Hello, Mr. Jackson. I thought that would have already been a thing. Jet 2 has aircons at work. Unless you're really unlucky. Germany's no rainbow and unicorns. Where is, mate? Where is these days? Okay, mate. Okay. Some frustrations with the car stuff. And I'm not feeling great. But we're pushing through. We're pushing through. How are you doing? Yeah, and you know what? I'm wondering if that's the case for me as well. I don't tend to really suffer from like hay fever or allergies like that, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
British Transport Police. If you notice something out of the ordinary, speak to a member of staff or text us on 610
Really, Mark?
and we'll get it sorted. That's 6.
Fair enough. I don't think there's a lot of people that would prefer rainy London over a sunny Spain. But home is home.
Yulding,
Yeah, rain does help.
and
Um,
Paddock Wood.
you end up not having really much flying through the air. And if it is an allergen thing, then that would be great. Although it's not even raining here anyway, it's pretty nice right now. It's been nice the last few days. I don't think it is. I don't know. My nose likes to do funny things sometimes. I mean, at least in London it hasn't, Mark. Can't speak for the rest of the UK though.
The next station is Yulding.
Well, with no working aircon and a broken toilet, Mark, I think, I think the going wrongs have well and truly begun. Gonna get nose spray addicted again. I've never heard of anyone getting addicted to nose sprays. Jackson, what is going on in Germany with the nose sprays? Who put fentanyl in the nose sprays in Germany? I appreciate the effort, Nabil. I appreciate the effort, boss.
Be arriving at Yulding.
Oh, so you still have an operational toilet on the plane? Okay. I thought there was only one, and that got that wasn't in service. Never in my life, Jackson.
Welcome aboard this Southeast
That is crazy.
Paddock Wood, calling at Beltring.
How do you even like combat that? Well, fingers crossed, Mark. It's not a long flight, so yeah, you know, it should be all right. I mean, I'm sure there'll be fights breaking out for one reason or another, regardless. It's an EasyJet flight after all. Can't be an EasyJet flight without without the token brawl. Let's just hope they don't have a Burger King hat on. So then, Jackson, aren't there like instructions given on it that you should only use it like once a day maybe or whatever?
If you notice something out
And the bill got the reference.
of the or text us on 6
That's one of my favorite videos.
and we'll
And is that for all of them, Jackson, or just like particular ones that have a particular ingredient inside? What's your girlfriend doing at the Burger King, Howard? Mark. Just make sure she's sensible with what she says. Just for the good stuff is crazy. I need the opposite. You know what? So many times I've thought about why doesn't a nose spray exist that blocks your nose, you know, for when like your nose is running. I could really do with that right now. A nose spray that causes a blockage.
Welcome aboard this southeastern service to Paddock Wood.
Now, Bill, when was the last time you played Motorfest? You need to switch to the kids version if you're addicted and slowly close down. Damn. Till I started using it again, I couldn't stand it anymore. Sounds like I'm talking about heroin. There's no judgment here, Jackson. Don't worry, boss. 29th of March. It's quite a while ago. I might jump on today. I finished the summit last night. Depending on how much time I've got this evening, I might give you a shout.
Is Paddock Wood.
She fights anyone. Well, hopefully she doesn't land you in any hot water. What clears out everything, Jackson? You won't jump on the bill, fair enough, boss. Oh, Paddock Wood at last. Normal with EasyJet flights, yeah. Oh, ratio farm. But see, here's I don't know, man. My nose, it's been good for a long time actually, but I haven't been able to identify what triggers it. Like I can be completely fine, and then it will react to something, and then it will instantly be like I've got like a bad cold, whereby everything else is fine. Like I'm feeling completely fine, but it's just the nose that's got an issue, and it could resolve itself during the day. It could just randomly start during the day. Usually it happens if this is weird. So usually it happens if I'm in bed beyond a certain time. It sounds very strange. Or if I stay in bed after waking up. So if I wake up but then decide I want to stay in bed for like half an hour, that causes it a lot of the time. But if it was dust, then wouldn't it like be consistent? I turned them off, Nabil. my TSW HUD is working today, so I'm just using that. I'm cheating. But I think it's a better, I don't know, I would find it a better viewing experience if like I was watching a video and then I didn't know the signals that were coming. Maybe, Jackson, I don't know, man, but this has been going on from when I was younger. Like, it's been consistent through several different like addresses and like places that I've selected. It's happened when I've stayed over at like a friend's house as well. There's no pattern, man. There's no pattern. I went to the doctor about it some years ago, and he asked like, okay, like, because he didn't know what it could be. So he said, try and like, anytime it happens, note down like the temperature, the location. But then in one temperature it can happen and then it doesn't happen. In one location it can happen, then it doesn't happen. There's just no pattern to it. There's no pattern to it. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there and get some rest. Appreciate you guys joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Sorry about the no face cam. If you want to see my face, go to the beginning of the stream. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a Twitch only stream while I experiment with OBS and try and get this resolution thing sorted. If it is from my end, I guess I can do everything I can to clear myself, and then I can freely blame Twitch all I like. Tomorrow will be, is it the bus tomorrow? I'm pretty sure it's the bus. I will double check the schedule right this moment. It is indeed the bus. That should be good. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that'll be Twitch only. I'll put a message out on the Discord for that, and hopefully I'll catch you guys then. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you again for joining me today. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay safe. Health is wealth. And until next time, peace out.